Hey friends, what is going on? It is another day. I am wearing the same shirt as I wore yesterday. I just realized that's just that's just the way it goes. Uh, but anyway, hey, thanks for all the comments in the last video. I really appreciated it. Very, very, uh, just great comments. Thanks a lot. You guys are awesome, of course. We know this. Some of the comments, there was more than one, were asking me about grain runout as it pertains to axe handles. Grain runout is something that is in your face every day with handles. So it's kind of a rabbit hole. So I guess I'll put a disclaimer in here because I don't want to. I don't want to throw all this out there and have somebody go, well, oh, I don't. That's just too much to deal with. I don't want to make an axe handle. I think if you're into axes, I think you should at least make one axe handle. You'll learn a lot, and it'll help you understand. It'll help you with your hafting. It'll help you in a lot of different ways. I personally, once I started, I can't stop. So I'm sunk. What is grain runout? I guess from my perspective, I guess I have to preface this with the way I've learned stuff about axe handles is to just break stuff, to just make it and break it. If it survives, then I learned something. Early on, I had some successes, and I got a little full of myself, I guess. And then I started making some handles. I was like, well, I'm going to make some curvy handles, you know. And so I just didn't. I just started making curvy handles, and things started breaking, and it wasn't a happy guy for a while, but it sparked a whole investigation as to what the heck was going on. And as it turns out, it wasn't just grain runout. Grain runout is, like I said, something that you're going to have to deal with when you make a handle. It depends on how much curvature is to it. And are you going to get a perfect handle? Sometimes. What does perfect mean? Don't really know. Just have to do the best you can. So, runout is just that. If you have a straight board and a straight grain and a curvy handle, it's literally where the grain stops. It runs out of the handle. So let me rearrange the camera, and I have one of my super curvy patterns which will make it really easy to see. So basically we have a straight-ish grain, but you can see why I like having wide boards and being able to play with it. Now, if I had a super wide board with this curvy of a handle, I doubt that I would be able to work something into this curvy and get everything. But so basically, I'm just going to put this down. Okay, this is a pretty good example of runout. It's everywhere in this. Let me wipe this down a little bit. So you can see it a little bit better. So basically with this handle, you'd have to ask yourself, where isn't grain runout? And it's freaking everywhere. So the grain's running through more or less parallel to the axis of the main axis of the handle. But you can see the grain runs along, and then it runs out of the handle. Same here, runs out here, and runs out here. Even back in the palm swell. So this would make more than likely a really weak handle, especially up in here where you just have it running out right here. There's a lot of force that shoots down the axis of this. And so conclusions from experience, this is almost a guaranteed handle that's going to break, probably within 10 swings. I mean, seriously. It's just set up for failure. And this is hickory, which I like because it's stringier and it doesn't have, I'm really became a non-fan of the white oak. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But there's really no way, with this curvy handle, there's really no way to orient this. I mean, you still would have run out here, and you're getting some grain running up to here, but really, ideally, you would want the grain to follow the curvature of the handle. So a curvy handle of this nature is pretty much out of the question. Here's an example of a handle in ash where you can see the grain is pretty much within the whole axis of the handle. And this was air dried. And I think it's gonna be a good handle. Only one way to find out. And here's the handle yesterday that I didn't like the run out. There's just a little bit of run out in here. Okay, back to the white oak. Now, we're gonna try to expose this grain a little bit so that you can see what's up with this guy. Now here's an example of, I broke this in the vise a minute ago. I just basically with one hand, and you can see run out. Now, this is my beef with white oak. Ooh, that smells good. See these little checks, these little tiny brown lines? That's another part of the grain. Now, you can see the larger part of the grain, the primary part of the grain, is running with the handle, but it's the secondary, what I call the secondary grain, I don't know if it is or not, but this secondary grain is what's running out. And thus. So, there you have it. Run out again. Okay. Here's another example of run out. This is, I believe this is white oak, but you see what I was talking about. That secondary grain is running out here. So we're going to see what we see with this. That didn't take very much at all. And yet that big grain, the swirly grain, was following the handle. And yet it was this secondary grain where it broke. That was like one hand, maybe, just. So we got a piece of wood. Okay, now we're good. Well, that's crunchy. Actually, that's not too bad. And it's not straight run out too. The grain's actually picking back up in here, so those grains are connected. Maybe we'll test it some more. Maybe we'll put a head on it. It's been my thought though, after getting into these curvy girls, and seeing what they're all about. I don't think a super curvy axe is for splitting firewood. I actually think it's for limbing or bucking, where the forces are a lot less than splitting firewood, and you get a little bit of an advantage with this hook in it, where you can reach over the tree a little bit easier. Just a thought. Anyway, I hope this explains run out. So anywhere your grain runs out, that's a potential break spot in your handle. So just try to avoid it if you can. That's another little tidbit. If you find a place that you're getting good wood from, good lumber, stick with it. I wouldn't worry about the price. There's a big difference between handle grade wood and just regular hardwood. So just keep that in mind when you're building your handles. Get the best you can. Of course, if you're just getting into it, anything is going to help you. Anything. I mean, shaping a 2x4 is going to help you to get your way you do things and the way you shape the wood and all of that stuff. If you're getting serious about, and you've got a expensive axe head that you want to hang, I'd be a little more choosy about the wood that you select and so on and so forth. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. Hey, let's keep the kindness rolling, keep the love flowing, and let's get through this week and put a smile on our own faces, and hopefully that'll put a smile on other people's faces, and we'll get through it all together. Talk to you soon.